Good evening, family, and welcome to the podcast, In the Black of My Mind. I'm your host, Al Thomas, so just settle in and enjoy the ride with us. I got you.
All right.
We have another great show in store for you. Our guest this evening wears many hats. He's a recording and performing artist, a TV star, a clinician, a pastor, a family man with a lovely wife and beautiful, talented children, an author, master guitarist, singer, producer, writer, and so much more. And to just give you a little about him, he lived with with Walter and Tremaine Hawkins, recorded and performed with the Hawkins family, the Love Center Choir, Tremaine Hawkins, Lynette Hawkins Stevens, and Shirley Miller. He's worked with other anointed gospel artists and pastors such as Donnie McClurkin, Hezekiah Walker, Smokey Norfolk, Donald Lawrence, Leandria Johnson, Darrell Coley, the late Thomas Whitfield, James Cleveland, and my favorite, Andre Crouch, Dorothy Norwood, Marion Williams, Albertina Walker, Yolanda Adams, Richard Smallwood, the Winans, BB and CeCe Winans, and wow, there's so many. The Williams brothers, Vicky Wine and Shirley Caesar, the Mighty Clouds of Joy, Dixie Hummingbirds, T.D. Jakes, Kim Burrell, Byron Cage, Kirk Carr, and Judith McAllister and Carlton Pearson. And he's also had the opportunity to share his gifts with outside the realm of gospel, where he played for and with Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, the Stylistics, Little Richard, Betty Wright, Joe Tex, Gwen McCrae, Jennifer Holliday, Sheila E., Elder Barge, the late Phyllis Hyman, Angie Stone, Chaka Khan, Harry Connick Jr., just to name a few. Okay, so his gift was also on full display on the Fox network, The Harry Show, and on the big screen in the movie The Fighting Temptations with Beyonce Knowles and Cuba Gooding Jr. He's traveled the world to countries such as Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, Denmark, England, France, Germany, Italy, Jamaica, Japan, Korea, Mexico, New Zealand, Spain, Switzerland, and Thailand. Welcome to the podcast, my friend, my brother, my pastor, my man, 20 grand, the prophesying guitarist, the legendary Jonathan DuBose Jr. How you feeling, Doctor?
Man of God, I am blessed. I thank God for being here. Thank you for this podcast show. And I am proud of you. I'm proud of you, sir.
Appreciate you, bro.
You are a blessing, not only to myself, not only to the ministry, but you are a blessing to the kingdom of God at large.
Wow. I appreciate you.
We thank God for you and your family. We thank God for what you're doing. This is a great show, and I'm honored to be a part of it. Thank you for having me, sir.
I'm honored that you would be a part of it. So let's get into it.
Yes, sir.
You were born and raised in
Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Bridgeport.
December 12th, 1960. My father is Jonathan DuBose Sr. My mother is Nanny Bell Champion DuBose. And we lived in a place called P.T. Barnum at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the projects.
Yeah.
And my mother hit the number for $2,500 and bought the house that we lived in on the east end of Bridgeport.
Wow.
That was in 1965. My sister is 11 months younger than I am. And then we also have a younger brother. His name is Bishop Kenneth DuBose, and he's 11 years younger than I am.
Okay.
And born in Bridgeport, and my father was a quartet singer. So he had a group and sang with a group called the Sensational Starlights. So they would practice at my father's house, and that's how I was able to hear this good music and also learn about doing dates and actually doing programs throughout on the weekends. They would work throughout the week, but on the weekends they would sing at various churches and events, and they would take me around, and that's how I started finding out what showbiz is all about.
Right. How did you get started playing guitar?
Um, it was a gift. It was a gift. Um, my mother said when I was in her womb, my uncle named Willie Edmond would play the guitar, and she would cry every time he would play the guitar.
Mm.
And I believe the tears from her crying had entered into me, and actually was the soil, or that's what watered my soil. And when I came out, I ended up playing just like him, Willie
Wow.
Edmond.
Wow.
And so I started playing the broom. We didn't
Right.
have a guitar.
I'm still playing the broom.
Yeah. Hey, whatever works, you know.
Bruh, I'm a nasty air guitar player.
Hey, I'm right along with you. When I see all these other guys, I say I can't do what they do, but
they can't do what you do. So
hey, God has given everybody their unique role to play in life.
Amen.
And as long as you're content with what He's given you, you're doing your best. That's all that counts. You know?
Exactly. Now, did you study with someone, or are you self-taught?
Self-taught, but my Uncle Willie, he did help me and showed me a couple of things. Benny Graham, who was playing for my father's group, he showed me a couple of things. A guy named Buck, we call him Buck, but his name was Robert Colbert. He played, and so I was able to get some things from him as well. And my biggest guy was Eddie Spanky Alford.
Oh wow!
He was the guy that really turned me on to real guitar playing, and so I learned a lot from him. And of course, I was buying records such as Joe Pass. I would get Jimi Hendrix records. I would listen to all the rhythm and blues. James Brown, I'd be listening to him too, and I was just learning from everywhere. I was listening to the commercials, so while the TV shows would be playing, I would be playing my guitar during the TV shows.
Wow.
And so even when you went to the commercial, I learned the commercial.
Right.
And this was building my catalog of information and chords and licks and things of that nature. And one thing led to another. And I just love to play. It's a gift. And the Bible said that your gift will make room for you and bring you before great men. I am a witness that it will do that.
It certainly has. Do you play any other instruments?
Yeah, I play bass. I can play the drums, and I play just a little bit of the keyboard. When I do recording, I can sequence the keyboard parts, which therefore means I can play in sections, and then put it all together to make it feel like it's one whole song. But I wouldn't be able to play that one song all together once it's all together. But I can piece things together.
Right.
And I started off playing a clarinet.
As did I.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I wanted to play saxophone, but they didn't have any more saxes, and so they were like, "Here, play this clarinet." So
right.
So I played clarinet up until high school.
Oh, okay.
And I started playing flute as a dare. There's the best musician in our school band was a flute player, and he was a braggart, and I was like, man, anybody could play flute, man. So he said, you can't play that. So I could play flute. So he put it together and gave it to me, and couldn't get a sound out of it. And he was clowning me, and everybody in the classroom was laughing. So I took it to the back of the classroom, and I knew that the fingering on the flute was the same as clarinet. Clarinet this way,
right?
Just turn it this way, and that's flute. The same finger,
right.
So I just had to get a sound. And so once I realized, like, if you like when you blow across a Coke bottle and you get
Right.
that sound, same principle. So once I got the sound out of the flute, then I started. So I'm in the back and I'm noodling, I'm playing little melodies, and they're like, "Look, look, look! He's playing! He's playing!" He snatched the flute from me, and he was mad. And that night, I bought a flute, and I've been playing ever since.
Wow, that's amazing.
Man,
From a dare.
from there.
Wow.
But it was cool though, because I was trying to play. I was playing in bands, and playing top 40 stuff, and it wasn't cool playing clarinet and
Yeah.
and top 40 stuff.
Yeah, but you could have went ahead and got a saxophone too, but you said they didn't have it in the school.
Right.
Right.
And I think that it was that. Well, statute of limitations over. I think that thing was hot. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my first. That's how I started playing flute.
Oh, that's great. That's a great story too, by the way.
So then, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I believe that I can play a saxophone as well. Believe it or not, I've never tried. But I believe if somebody gave me a saxophone, I'll be able to, in about 5 or 10 minutes, I'll be able to make some noise and play a song, maybe even Amazing Grace or something like that.
Right. Well, you got the reed thing down from playing clarinet.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the fingering,
the
most part is the same as well.
Right.
So
absolutely, absolutely,
no doubt,
absolutely.
So you started playing with your father and his group at an early age.
Yeah, I think it was probably 1968.
Wow.
When I started playing, I was probably 8 years old then, maybe 7, 8.
Wow.
So it might have been 69. That I started playing with them. And one day the guitar player said he couldn't make it, and then I heard the guy say, "Who are we going to get as a guitar player?" And then I raised my hand. I says, "I could do it." They said, "You think you could do it?" And my father said, "Yeah, he could do it." And I played in the rehearsal, and it worked out fine. So we went and did the engagement. And when they finished walking off, the MC told me to come back up and put me on a chair and said, "Just play." And I played, and the people gave me a standing ovation.
Wow.
And from that day on, I recognized, hey, I think this is where I belong,
Right. You got something there.
Yeah, exactly.
So after which you played in local churches and things of that nature?
Yeah, well, mainly I was playing for my father.
Okay.
Back then, 69, 70, they wouldn't allow guitars in churches.
Wow, that's right.
It was considered devil.
Right.
Instrument. That's a devil instrument,
right.
Or devil music that you play in the guitar because they think you're playing the blues or something like that,
right. Right.
So in the Baptist churches, that is. The Baptist. So I was a part of a Baptist churches. And the Methodist churches is even stricter.
Wow.
So, they didn't even allow drums in their church.
Oh, yeah, no, we had no drums in our Baptist church, and we came up early on in the Baptist church.
Right. So you just had piano and maybe an organ. That was it. So I couldn't play in the church morning services, but maybe in the evenings when they had, the quartet services,
gotcha.
it was mainly guitars and no pianos. So it was the complete opposite.
Right. Wow.
So I was with the quartets. And truth of the matter is, I didn't grow up with choirs, so I don't really like choirs. Even today,
we're on that same page, bro.
Even today, I mean, thank God that I was able to work with a lot of choirs and record with a lot of them. But that's not my favorite style of music. I prefer quartet more than that. But now, since I've been playing for so long, the Lord is able to. He gave me my own style of music, which is called cause music. You may want to talk about that at some point.
Well, we can talk about it now.
Yeah. Well, I have cause music is
an acronym for
classified as universal sounds. Music that deliver people from their various dilemmas. Music that not only feels good, but it heals good.
Right.
You know?
Right.
If you have a stomach ache, you would get Pepto-Bismol.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a toothache, you would get Ambisol.
Right.
If you have a headache, you would get Tylenol.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you have an ache of the soul and the spirit, you would get Cause music.
Right.
And this music will soothe you, and it would heal you, and it's music to usher in the presence of God.
Yeah.
And it ushers you into his presence,
right.
so that you can receive what he has in store for you. And it's a conglomerate of all different styles: jazz, gospel, reggae, funk, classical, country, bebop, all these different genres thrown into one pot and stirred.
Gumbo.
And then it's served.
Mm-hmm.
That's Cause.
Yeah.
So when you hear it, you'll hear bits of classical, bits of country, bits of R&B, bits of soul, bits of theatrical, all these different variances of music, thrown together. And record company says, we like it, but it's not in one genre. It's too many genres. That's what they were saying. It's just we don't know how to place it. We don't know if it's gospel, if it's R&B, if it's rock, if it's jazz. You're all over the place. You have to excuse me. So you have to bring it into one format.
Right. Well, record companies have historically been restrictive anyway, so they want to put you in one category and stuff. And if you're, if they don't understand that's what they understand. Just we just got this one category here, and we'll put you
exactly
there.
Right.
No. And so they limit you. They limit your mobility. They limit your
creativity.
Your
creativity, right? Much. Absolutely.
So as you got older, you played with any local bands?
I did. I played with a group called the Mighty Chain Reaction. I got with them maybe 15, 16 years old, and I stayed with them until I graduated from high school. Okay. We got very good, by the way. I was playing in nightclubs at 15, so it was 15.
Right. Wow.
And we was playing, the top 40. We was playing Earth, Wind and Fire, Material, War, the Commodores, Parliament Funkadelic, the Barcades, Ohio Players, everybody who was the top 40, Evelyn Champagne King.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. A Taste of Honey. And I did that until graduated from high school in 1978. And I went on the road with a guy named Fat Daddy. Funky and Tough. Gregory Gallen is his real name, but everybody called him Fats, and he was from Waterbury, Connecticut.
Okay.
And I was able to get hooked up with him. And we went out to Miami, Florida, did a recording at TK Productions in Miami, Florida in 1978. And I was playing the rhythm guitar. The lead guitar his name was John Booth. The bass player was McKinley Odom. We had a keyboard player named Roy Huey Santos. And Fat Daddy was the drummer. And he played a 21-piece drum set.
Wow.
Double bass, double bass pedals. He had cymbals all over. Cymbals was behind him.
Wow.
And he wore a Abraham Lincoln hat, and he had a very thick mustache, and he looked like a walrus.
Wow.
And when he played, his blubber be moving and everything. And that was his show. That was the show.
Okay.
And we would feature him. He would make sounds, and he knew he was big, so he would he will allow his bigness to be a part of his gimmick,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were dressed like Kiss.
Oh wow.
We were the Black Kiss,
Right.
wearing heels and capes and paste on our face and all that.
Right.
This is before Living Color.
Right.
Is
Yeah,
it Living
70s.
Color? The group.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Black Rock
yeah,
Band. Yeah.
yeah. Right.
Wow.
So they was coming out around the same time, and they shot out, and we was trying to shoot out, and the producer was saying, "This ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work." He just didn't see the vision.
Right.
So as opposed to him helping us, he was hurting us.
Oh, okay.
So you want to make sure that you're connected with the right producer.
That's for sure. Well,
Somebody
connected with the right people, period.
With the right period. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Somebody who sees your vision.
Right.
Somebody who understands your vision and is not going to fight against your vision.
Right. And can take your vision to the next level.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But the scripture goes on to say, if God be for you, who in the world can be against you?
Amen.
So even if somebody is fighting against you, as long as you're on God's side and you're following the leadership of God's plan, no weapon formed against you shall prosper.
Right. That's right.
Yes, sir.
So that was the start of you playing professionally?
Yes. I came back in 1979, the tail end of 1979. The bass player got a girl pregnant. When he got her pregnant, then that means he had to take care of the family. The bass player, McKinley Odom, was actually the leader of the group. He wrote all the songs, he sang all the songs, and he really was the producer of everything. But Fats had the name, and Gregory Gallen, Fat Gallen, his father's name was Wild Man Steve.
Oh, wow.
The Wild Man.
Wow, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Wild Man Steve was the one who was getting us these engagements. Okay. So we was playing behind him in the Chitlin Circuit.
Right.
The Chitlin Circuit is a place where people who used to be big are no longer big, but they still have an audience. So the audience come to maybe shacks or really small clubs, that's maybe 250 people or something like that.
Right.
All over the country, there's these small little clubs, and they would come to these places. And so I was going to these places to play with Joe Tex, Harold Melvin, and the Blue Notes. That's how I got to play with them,
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Right. Gwen McCrae, James Brown would hit it every now and then.
Wow.
And so that's what I did that until 1980, and then the band dispersed, came back home, moved back in with Mom and Pops.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I moved back in, I'm humble.
Oh yeah.
And they're saying things like, it's time for you to get a real job.
Yeah, right.
And but I never lost the faith. I kept the dream alive, and I knew that my gift would make room for me. So I tried to enlist into the Army in 1980.
Okay.
And they told me that the Army was jam-packed. They couldn't enlist any more people, so told me to wait another 6 months, come back in 6 months.
Okay.
So I was denied from going into the Army. So I went to the college, Housatonic College.
Oh yeah.
Said, let me go there. So I went to college for 1 semester, and one of my teachers said, let me meet with you right after school. And I met with him, and he said, I just want to tell you, you're kind. Don't belong here. Are you trying to say because I'm black?
Right,
said,
right.
No, he says, you're so gifted. He says, your gift to make room for you. You just go out, you just play. He said, they'll find you.
Wow.
They'll find you.
Wow.
So he said, keep your money, save your money. Don't even come back here.
Wow.
So that's how, and then J.C. White, Bishop J.C. White moved to came to Bridgeport, Connecticut, started pastoring
Mm-hmm.
took over Turn of Faith Temple Church, and he changed the name to the Cathedral of Praise years later.
Right, right.
And he had a record deal with Savoy, and he's heard me play at his church, took me with him to Savoy to record on he and his wife record. And as I was recording on the J.C. White's record, the producer name is Milton Bingham from Savoy Records.
Mm-hmm.
So Milton Bingham said, well, we don't have a guitar player. You want to play on all the Savoy records? Wow. So I became a studio musician for all of the Savoy recordings. Wow. That's how I started recording with the New Jersey Mass Choir, Albert Jameson, all those choirs, Richard White, Mr. Clean, the O'Neill Twins, the list goes on. The list goes on. Everybody who was on the Savoy records, I was recording for them from 1980 to 1982 for 2 years. Wow! So I was traveling, playing for all these choirs and all these groups. The Barrett Sisters, Mississippi Mass Choir, whoever was big at that time, and it was a great experience. But so as you can see, I went from playing quartet music to playing R&B music to playing rock music with Fats. Now I'm playing choir music. All of these are different implications of musical styles that I'm actually indoctrinating, and it's becoming a part of my arsenal.
Right.
So then in 1982, I got burnt out, and I was telling my friend James Perry, who was a great pianist, and we played together on all the Savoy records. I'm tired and I'm burnt out, man, because the truth of the matter is they would have the guitar very low in the mix. So you could just barely hear it.
Right, right.
So I felt somewhat insulted.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you pay me to come to play, and then you don't even have me up in the mix. You can't even tell that there's a guitar in the record,
Right, right.
Which is another way that it shaped me to play in such a way to whereas since you're not going to turn me up, I have to play where I can be heard. So I look for a hole. So I started looking for a hole.
Right.
Not even understanding that it was developing a style. There was a style being developed. So anytime it was a hole, I would make some noise. Sound effects. I went and saw Blackbird. He was playing for Herbie Hancock, and they were opening for George Benson. And Blackbird played the guitar in a way that I never heard it before. He played the guitar as if it was like a synthesizer.
Oh, wow.
And he was creating sounds. As opposed to he was playing chords and everything, but he made sounds and noise and
now, was he using a pedal to get those sounds?
Yeah, he's using the pedal and he's using his hand, his imagination.
Right.
So I'm checking that out. And then George Benson comes and plays more guitar than the law allows.
Yeah.
But George Benson plays so much guitar that it bored me.
Oh, wow.
George, hey, I love you, please.
Right.
It was just too much for me to handle.
Yeah.
Right? It was over my head. I couldn't comprehend it.
Right.
But what Blackbird was doing, he opened another door for me to understand.
Wow.
The guitar doesn't have to be played like George. You can play it and make sound effects out of it. And so I incorporated that to be a part of my arsenal as well.
Right. Wow.
So that's how my style became the way that it is, because I played all these different genres of music with these different entities that it helped make me who I am today. And then so we go to 1982. I'm asked by Willie Smalls from New Haven, Connecticut, to play with him at the Edwin Hawkins Music and Arts Seminar. So I go to play with him, and then we get there, and
this is down in Florida.
No, this is in Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta.
Peachtree Street.
Gotcha.
Peachtree Street. Yeah, gotcha. The Hyatt Regency, or the Omni, one of those hotels. And Walter Hawkins, Edwin Hawkins, Daniel Hawkins, Derek Schofield, Joe Smith, and Patrick Henderson were practicing. And I walked in along with a guy named Tommy Harris from Bridgeport. Tommy Harris was my best friend at the time.
Okay.
Great singer, great keyboard player, sound like Donny Hathaway, Stevie Wonder. Wow. He plays just like them.
Wow.
Yeah, he was ahead of his time. So he and I both walked in together. And I had my guitar, and I had the nerve to ask them, could I play? They stopped almost as if to say, how could we tell him no? And, in a diplomatic way.
Right.
So, I could see they was fumbling and but people was walking in because it was time for their choir rehearsal. So rehearsal was supposed to be at 1:30. I guess it was 1:35. They was finishing their song. And then the drummer, Derek Schofield, said these words. What's your name? I said, Jonathan DuBose Jr. He goes up, oh man, he's back. Yo, I don't even know who Derek Schofield is. Yo, who are you, bro?
Right.
But anyway, I'm glad because he's talking up for me. And so Walter says these words, well, we don't have much time because the people are coming in. Whatever we're going to do, we got to hurry up and do it. Just let him, just let him. And then so Joe Smith said there's no guitar amp. I said, yeah, but you got an extra hole in your amp. Hey! You got an extra hole in your amp.
Right.
So I had to plug into the bass amp and play with him for my audition.
Right.
And when they counted it off, the Holy Spirit was with me. Because I don't know what I was doing, but I was playing what I heard. And when it was over with, Walter Hawkins said these words, are you ready to move to California? And the whole place went berserk. Yo! Oh! 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 People were throwing things. Oh! Oh! And that's how I got to be with the Hawkins family.
Wow.
And then I moved in with he and Tremaine. They were living together. They were married.
Right.
And then I was having when I left, Bishop Mose had called and told me, he said, when you left Bridgeport, you left a package. So my first child was being born. And I had to come back to deal with that situation. And my child name is Ashley Smith. She is now 41 years old.
Wow.
And she has a daughter named Winter. And that's my daughter, and that's my granddaughter, and I am proud of them. And so, but I came back here to deal with that, situation with her mother, who's now deceased. Condolences are for the family.
Right.
Then I moved back. When I went back to California, Walter picked me up from San Francisco and drove me to a different place. And he says, this is where me and you going to stay. I says, well, what about Tremaine and your family? He says, we're separated. So then I became his roommate.
Okay.
So Walter and I lived together for about 6 months. And then after 6 months, Joe Smith and myself, we moved together. And we
Okay.
stayed together for 2 years.
Mm.
And then I moved to Hollywood, California, and I stayed with the road manager. Her name was Gloria Hawkins. I stayed with her for a year and a half, 2 years. And
Mm-hmm.
then I moved back to Oakland, California with Edwin Hawkins. Stayed at the Oh Happy Day house. Edwin
The,
Hawkins,
the old Happy Day house.
the Oh Happy Day house. He bought his mother and father a house. It's 1971 Hoover Avenue in
Mm-hmm.
Oakland, California. And when his mother and father passed away, he moved in, and everybody who was having difficulties will move in that house.
Wow.
So then, when I left LA, I moved into that house and stayed there until I recognized, you know what? Everybody has seasons,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the Hawkins family season was declining.
Okay. Okay.
So I knew I better get off the ship now
Mm.
or try to make something happen here. And I just felt led to come back home.
Okay.
So I came back here in 1987, saw my wife, met my wife. The Bible said, a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing
Good
and
thing.
obtaineth favor from the Lord.
Mm.
So when I got married, God started opening up other doors.
Mm.
So I started working with Jennifer Holliday.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I'm traveling, working with her. And then when I come back, then I start working with Phyllis Hyman.
Mm.
I became her musical director. Then I got a call from Tremaine Hawkins. And, she said for me to put together a band for her. I came back and got the Willie Small Singers.
Mm.
And that's how the
Right,
Willie Small
right.
Singers got to be with Tremaine Hawkins.
Gotcha.
Because I was able to get them back in. But I was able to get the job because Willie Smalls asked me to help him out. So you see how everything works out, you know?
Yeah, full circle.
That's exactly what happened.
Um, so when you playing with the Hawkins, when you were in the big leagues, then how was it playing with them?
It was a dream come true.
Mm.
It was a dream come true.
Wow.
We traveled in a bus, a tour bus
Mm-hmm.
that had 12 beds in it,
Oh wow.
2 bathrooms.
Wow.
You have a kitchen, you have a microwave, you have a freezer. You had two entertainment centers, an entertainment center in the front of the bus, an entertainment center in the back of the bus.
Wow.
And that's how we travel.
Mm-hmm.
1982, 83, 84, 85. On the road again. Yeah, we was traveling on the road, and you travel comfortably. It's a home on wheels.
On wheels, right.
And then what we would do is we would go into the venue, do the show, and then after the show, go to the next city.
Mm-hmm.
Get into the next city, check into the hotel. Everybody have their rooms. Get your rest. Get up. Go to sound check. Eat dinner. Do the show. On to the next city.
Wow.
Get into the hotel. Rest. Go. It's the same thing, you know.
Right.
And
Rinse,
maybe
repeat.
some. Yeah, and then a couple of times you have days off. So you have a day off in Denver, Colorado, or a day off wherever you are, and you know, when it's a day off, nobody want to see nobody, you know, because we're with each other all the time,
Right,
you know.
right.
So that's what it's like. At that time, we was making, I think, $250 a show.
Wow.
In 82, 83. So I think we'd be doing 4 to 5 shows a week.
Mm-hmm.
So you make $1,000, $1,200, $1,250, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they was giving us per diem.
Okay.
So you get $30 per diem. So then, you know, that's money for you to do whatever you need to do with. Get your
Right.
toiletries or pay your bill or whatever.
Right. Eat.
Eat, right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they also had uh, when we go to the venue, they also had caterers.
Okay.
So the catering was for free. You don't
Right.
have to pay for that.
Right.
So, if you could just wait the meal time, you just eat then and then take what you need for the next day
Oh.
and save your per diem.
Right.
That's what I was doing.
Or go on a fast.
Go on a fast. I was coming back home with sometimes $1,500 to $3,000 for my per diem.
Okay. Okay.
My per diem.
Wow.
I was always trying to save a dollar.
Right. Right.
And but it was great. It was great, and that hit me to what it's like being on the road, and that's where the big timers and
No doubt.
and we had clothes that was made for us.
Wow.
Tailors to
Yeah,
come to tailor make your suits and tailor make your clothes. Your shoes was tailor made.
Wow.
I mean, it's like so it's a different lifestyle.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It's something I always wanted to do. I've played hundreds of gigs, over the years and stuff. Man, maybe 1,000 gigs.
Yes.
And I know that it's not all that it's cracked up to be, but I've always wanted to tour.
Yes. It was it's a young man thing. I think
Right.
it's for a young man. And then if you have a family, it's going to be difficult on the family too.
Right. Right.
That's why I have to be thankful to my wife because she hung in there for all these years that I've been touring. And I've been touring for 30 years.
Wow.
Over 30 years, and she's been right there.
I just want one.
Yeah.
I just want one tour. That's all.
Yeah.
I'll be content.
Well, maybe we'll take the Agape House Fellowship Learning Center out on tour.
That sounds like a plan to me.
And then we could be able to do what we do, at our church,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting though. But you I was reading all of the different countries and stuff that you had the opportunity to play in. I know that had to have been real interesting.
Very interesting. Every time I go to England, London, Heathrow Airport, it's always raining and it's always cold. I'm like, man, do these guys ever get a break? And I've been there many, many times. But out of all the countries that I've been to, the one that I like the most is Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's clean.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. And the people, they love Black people.
Wow.
It's heavy. It's heavy.
Yeah, it's deep.
So,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I remember you once told me that you were on the road somewhere overseas with the Hawkins, and one of the brothers got left like at the airport or something.
Yes. That was we was in Rome. We went to Italy.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Rome, Italy, and we got in the bus. We had to drive 2 hours from the airport to our destination.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was worn out. Everybody was tired. We were on the bus. And one of the sisters says, "Where's Daniel?" And everybody started looking around. Where's Daniel? Where's he? Nobody saw Daniel. And then he's a Hawkins.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Oh my God, we left our brother. And we already drove an hour and 15 minutes away already.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And we still have another 45 minutes to go to reach our destination." Here's a deep thing. We in Rome, Italy, and we don't know how to speak Italian.
Right.
So the driver don't understand the thing we talking about. But the interpreter understood.
Mm-hmm.
So the interpreter had to wire back and walkie-talkie and let somebody know that He was left behind.
Mm, mm, mm.
And it's a good thing that we had a tour booklet,
Oh, right.
because Daniel didn't know how to tell anybody where he was going because he didn't know where he was going. But he showed them the tour booklet, and somebody, God sent an angel
Mm.
to drive him from the airport 2 hours to where we were, free of charge.
Wow.
Well, I mean, of course, they ended up paying him after he got there.
Right, right.
They ended up paying him,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that happened. That happened. So that's why you got to have a road manager.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's the job of a road manager. The road manager is to make sure that everybody is attentive, everybody's on time, make sure everybody rooms is taken care of, make sure everybody knows what time we're supposed to be on stage, what time the food is ready. That you have somebody, they call that the road manager. His job is to make sure those particulars are taken care of.
Right, right, right. And then, well, shortly thereafter, you met Harry.
Yeah, I was playing with Tremaine in Paris,
Mm.
France, and we were playing at the La Meridian nightclub, which is well, it's the La Meridian Hotel, but the name of the name of the nightclub was called the Lionel Hampton nightclub.
Oh, wow.
Lionel Hampton nightclub,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and we was playing there, and in walks Harry Connick Jr. and his management, and we played and everything, and so after we finished playing, he walks up to me and he introduces himself this way. He says, your stage presence make up for your lack of playing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And so my response to him was, little becomes much when you place it in the master's hand.
Mm.
He said, where you get that from? I says, all of this is implied by the word of God.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Mm-hmm.
we exchanged information. Then 8 months later, he ended up calling, or his management called.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me if I would be interested in participating. But I got a story that goes along with that too, if you don't mind.
Oh, but please.
Um, the day that they called was the same day our house had been ramshacked and broken into by a thief.
Mm.
And the Holy Spirit told me who the thief was.
Wow.
A friend of mine.
Mm.
And when he broke into the house, he left his glove. So the only proof I had was his glove. That's the only proof that I had.
Mm-hmm.
So a week go by, and I pick my wife and my kids up from school and from work. And as we're driving back home, I see that guy around my house coming back for seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, I see him. That's him. I can't believe he's coming back again. It's a magnet at this house or something.
Right, right, right.
So as soon as we pull up, he start pulling off. And I call his name, Pee-wee! He came back. I told my wife and my kids, hurry up, get in the house, get in the house.
Mm-hmm.
My wife said, you gonna beat him up? I said, I don't know. Because he might be able to whip me, and that's gonna be worse.
You ain't lying.
We don't want to mess with that.
Mm.
So I didn't know what to do. They went in the house. He came and he stuttered too. I heard somebody broke in your house. I said, yeah, Pee-wee. He said, I think I could get it back for you. I said, no, I don't want it back. And I said, just wait here. And I went in the house and I got his glove. And I came back out. While I put the glove in my hand, the Holy Spirit says, take $5 out of your wallet and give me $5. Like, God, why would I give this man $5 after he broke in my house and he's trying to break in it again? Lord said, give the man $5. So I took $5 out and I put $5 in his hands. And he says, "How did you know I was going to ask you for $5?" I said, "The same God that told me to give you the $5 is the same God that told me to give you your glove. You left this in my house last week." He said, "No, no, 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 Jonathan, no, no." I said, "PB, it's okay." I says, "We all make mistakes." And then he says, "I broke into my sister's house and took my niece and nephew's Christmas toys and sold them for crack."
Oh, man.
So I said, "If you're going to break into your sister's house, I know you're going to break in your friend's house."
Right, exactly.
Which is moi.
Mm-hmm.
And we hugging each other and we both crying and everything. You know what he said?
What's that?
"I'll protect your house from now on."
Wow. Wow.
I'll protect your house. I'll make sure nobody else don't be stealing. He said, "Jonathan, I'm homeless. I live on the street, man." He said, "I just need something to eat." And the Lord said, "Hug him. Give him a hug." I hugged him and we cried. Getting back to this story. So I'll go back in the house. This is going to bless you. My wife is on the phone. She said, "Oh, by the way, here he is." When I picked up the phone, hello, it was Harry Connick's people.
Wow.
And Harry People says, "How much money do you want?" I was making $12.50 with Tremaine Hawkins a week, and I was making $12.50 with Phyllis Hyman a week. So I said, "Man, I should ask for $1,500. Just a little bit extra." And then I heard the Holy Spirit say, "Double it. Double 15. Oh, what you talking about? Wow! This is crazy. Double 15. So she said, "How much you want?" I said, $3,000 a week. She said, "We ain't paying nobody that." She said, "Well, we'll get back to you. We'll call you back tomorrow." I said, "I'm negotiable, by the way. I'm negotiable." They called back the next day, said these words, "Don't tell anybody. Harry will pay you $3,000 a week. And he's going to put you on a $1,500 retainer.
Wow.
So you don't have to work for anybody else but him." And this went on from 1994 to 1999, 5 years.
Wow.
God can and God will do it if you just let him and allow him. And the best thing I can share with anybody is confess your fault one to another. Tell God, tell somebody.
Right.
Admit that you need help. In order for you to get help, you have to admit it.
Right.
You know, when you go to the doctor, you go to the hospital, they don't know where your ailment is. You got to tell, first of all, you got to tell them your name. And then you got to tell them your address. You got to tell them who you are. You got to tell them where you work and all that. And then they're going to ask you, "Well, what's bothering you?" And you got to tell them, "It's my stomach. It's my neck. It's my back. It's my leg." You have to identify what the problem is so that you can get the help you need.
Right.
And that's what we have to do, is identify our problems so that we can get the spiritual help that we need. And the best way to do it is by confessing to each other, "I need help, and I need you to survive." That Hezekiah Walker song is so beautiful. "I can't make it without you. You can't make it without me. We need one another to survive."
Right.
Yeah.
So Harry Connick Jr. just put you on a whole nother level.
That was a whole nother level. I thought that the Hawkins was the top. But
Harry were of gospel.
They were of gospel, absolutely. And this was we still was traveling in tour buses, but we were having more extensive tours. It was the first time that I was on a retainer. we were playing in bigger venues. We were playing in coliseums, that were seating 15,000 people,
Wow. Right.
every night,
Right.
17,000, it's packed,
Wow.
and that's where I began to travel all these foreign countries with him,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I remember some years back, I was at Living Word. I was before I started playing with y'all, and I was sitting in the back, and on a Sunday, it was All Star Sunday, and so the band started praise and worship, and I looked up there, and you weren't there. I told my family, I said, I bet you Jonathan playing at the All Star game. And so later that day, I turned on the television, sit down and watch the game. And lo and behold, there you are at the All Star game. I think that was in New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was New Orleans in 2008,
Mm.
I believe, 2008. Yeah. Dwight Howard won the slam dunk contest,
Mm.
dressed as Superman.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
That was a great experience. And um, Harry Connick Jr. have been very good to me.
Mm.
There's a story in the Bible that talks about Boaz. Boaz was good to Ruth,
Mm-hmm.
and Boaz made sure that Ruth got everything she needed because Boaz found a liking into Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
Harry found a liking to Jonathan DuBose Jr. for whatever reason, and he will always give me more attention than he would give anybody else.
Wow.
And so he was the one who was responsible for setting all that up.
Right.
But God had to touch his heart
Right.
to do that. I didn't ask for it. And it was a great experience playing with Branford Marcellus and the young lady Stephanie Jordan. That was my first time meeting her.
Okay.
And, it was great. And we've done it again. I played with Harry at the 1996 championship between the Chicago Bulls and the Seattle Supersonics.
Mm.
I played on that game as well, the Star Spangled Banner.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed up the night before coming up with this complicated rendition. And I get on the parquet that day. He said, let's see what you got. And I started to play these take six chords.
Mm-hmm.
And he stopped me. He said, hey, the margin for error is too great. Don't you understand? 25 million people going to be watching tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He said, how would your father like it? I said, oh, man, my father would like it. Oh, say, can you see? He said, play that for me. Do that for me.
Okay.
Don't be trying to play all this fancy stuff and you're going to mess up. Nah, man.
Mm.
Do that. And you know what? That was 1996. And from 1996 till right now, I have yet to play that faultless before anybody.
Mm.
Out of all these years, I've attempted it maybe 2 or 3 times.
Uh-huh.
The last time that I attempted to play it, I believe that I was able to do it successfully, but I still had a flaw in it.
Oh, okay.
It's a difficult piece chording wise, and there's a video that's out with me playing it on an acoustic guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, it's from another podcast.
Mm.
But once again, these opportunities, they are great. And Harry was the one who gave me the opportunity to do the movie Fighting Temptation with Beyonce and Cuban Gooding Jr. It was his reference that got me that door, got me in the door.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once again, Boaz helping Ruth,
Yep.
Everybody has a Boaz in their life, or you should,
Mm-hmm.
Or you should get to that place where you can recognize who your Boaz is.
Right. And so you spent a lot of years with Harry.
Yeah, I was with him for 25 years.
Yeah.
25 years. Yeah.
So, in addition to the records that you played on of his and the touring and everything, you've independently produced your own project, your own albums. Well, you won't have albums anymore, but
Right,
CDs.
right.
I
CDs.
still say albums. I'm old
Right,
school. I'm
right,
sorry.
right, right, right. It's all the same. It's all the same thing.
Okay, okay.
Compositions, you know. Yeah, I have my own label. As a matter of fact, it's called Jobo Enterprises.
Mm-hmm.
People can be able to go to Jobo, Jobo Enterprises, Enterprises
Mm-hmm.
LLC. That is my YouTube page, and the world will open up to you. You will get a chance to see, hear, watch, and experience what Cause Music is about. It talks about the ministry, Agape House Fellowship Learning Center, a place where imperfect people come to serve a perfect God. We come to learn and we leave to serve. And then we also have the Historical Nugget Show, which I'm telling some of these stories and in a story frame. And sometimes I use different people to explain and express their perspective of my story.
Mm.
You know, like Fred Hammond called me a couple of days ago.
I saw his. I meant to say something to you about that because I saw him the other day. He was doing his podcast, and he said he was going to talk about the Tremaine Hawkins story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I meant to call you.
Yes, he called me and asked me to send him that historical nugget so that he could share it on his platform.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So he wants to share it on his platform. And I told him I'm honored that he would like to share it on his platform. These stories have to be told. Here's another story that a lot of people didn't know. The war cry. Where did the war cry come from? Well, it came out of Bishop Kenneth Moe's church, and he was the one who gave it the name. However, the reason why the war cry came about was because I was tired of playing the Spontaneous Praise. Spontaneous Praise was made in 1991 at Albert Chamberson's church with the East Coast Regional Mass Choir. Everybody was doing that for a couple of years. I made that. Wow. So I was tired of doing that. So I said, let's do something different. Let's go. So I'm just trying to do something because I like to be fresh. I like to do something different. I had no idea that somebody was going to put a name to it, and then somebody was Bishop Mose. He put a name to it, and it went out. Then go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, then there's another one that I did afterwards. Since I figured, since we did those two, might as well come up with another one. It's called the Victory Chant. Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. And that's a video too that's featuring Doobie Powell, his brother Kevin Powell, his other brother Billy Powell, and their cousin on bass, Hodge. Yeah. He's a great bass player.
Right.
So,
it's interesting because I've heard a lot of people use the war cry in their music and stuff. So all of y'all that use the war cry, y'all need to hit Pastor Jonathan up. y'all need to take care of him because that was like there's a couple of songs like that's the major portion of the song and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
sure. Sure. I mean, and I wasn't doing it for any monetary gain or anything like that.
But they are.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a point.
You know what I'm saying? They are.
You got a point. And so, Yeah, but we want to keep creating and we want to keep producing good music that will usher people in the presence of God.
Mm.
And once you get in His presence, the Bible said, "In His presence there's fullness of joy, and at His right hand there are pleasures forevermore." You
Amen.
know, and
Amen.
that's where we want to be, in the right hand of God.
Right, right. If you still have time, I got a couple of rapid fire questions I want to ask.
Got you. Go for it.
All right. What's the dopest place you ever performed?
Um, Place. The Apollo Theater.
Oh wow. Right, right. Okay.
Oh, I got a story about that one.
Okay.
We at the Apollo with Tremaine Hawkins, Al Green,
Mm.
and I think maybe was it Ashford and Simpson? I
Oh
think
wow.
somebody. And I have my family with me. My
Mm-hmm.
kids are small. Pierre and them are all small.
Mm.
And I'm driving, not thinking. In the city of New York, you got to move earlier.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
thinking that I'm down the street. I got caught into traffic.
Mm.
And Tremaine is going on early.
Oh boy.
And my family, my mother, my father, got a bus from Bridgeport to come to the Apollo to see Jonathan DuBose Jr. play with Tremaine at the Apollo. And I showed up in the third song.
Oh man.
Tremaine was 3 songs deep in when I got there.
Right,
So
right.
I'm plugging in after they had already did the first 2 songs without me.
Mm, mm, mm.
You talking about embarrassing?
Oh, I know that's right. Mm, mm.
So I guess somebody would say, well, why would that be your favorite place? It's because it's probably one of the most famous places.
Right, right.
And it was the most humiliating experience that I ever had.
Mm.
It's probably the most memorable one to remember, But to me, all of them are the same. It doesn't make a difference. They're all the same.
Right, right. I hear you. What are your hobbies?
I like playing basketball.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I like billiards. I like playing pool.
Mm-hmm.
I like bowling.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that I like to do.
Okay. What's on your bucket list?
Um, the truth of the matter is, I would like to see this production of Cause music be embraced globally all over the world
Mm.
from everybody, from all walk of life. Just like when bebop hit, it took years before everybody started to embrace the bebop movement.
Right, right.
And so I pray that I can be able to live to see everyone embrace the Cause music explosion,
Mm.
and embrace it,
Mm.
and if I can live to see that, then,
Mm.
then my living shall not be in vain.
Right, right. Who's your hero?
My father,
Mm. Mm-hmm. What's
Walter
the?
Hawkins.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can get. I'm just. It's half a couple of them.
No. I can't. By all means.
My father,
Mm-hmm.
Walter Hawkins,
Mm.
Bishop Kenneth Mose,
Mm.
Joe Smith,
Wow.
and Eddie
Rest in
Spanky
peace.
Alford.
Rest in peace.
Yes.
Now, earlier on, you said that you had learned a lot from him, from Spanky.
Yes.
You met him early on, or was it just from his music that you heard?
Yeah. At 16 years old.
Really?
At 16 years old, I thought that I was hot stuff.
Uh huh.
You know, Because I'm thinking I really, and so my father recognized that I was feeling myself. So he comes back home and tells me he met a guitar player that blew his mind.
Wow.
He said, "Now this guy plays more guitar than the law allows." He said he's from Philadelphia. When he come back here, I'll let you know. So when he came back with his group, which is the Gospel Soulettes, Spanky was playing with him. I made sure that I meet this guy named Spanky, and I made sure that he hear me too. So I play and I do whatever I do. And when he gets up, their speaker is just talking. He's introducing the group, and he's making small talk before they do their first song. And Spanky is playing chords and things that is on the level of George Benson.
Okay. Wow.
I knew. I said, they haven't even played one song and I lost already. They haven't even, he's just doodling.
Right.
And it's over.
It's over.
It's over. I'm saying it's over. So my father looking at me like, yeah, you got a lot to learn, boy. You got a lot to learn, So I was not only, I was humiliated at the beginning, but I was enlightened as he kept playing. And then when I finally talked to him, he was down to earth. And he was a sweetheart. He gave me his number. We kept in contact. And that pushed me and made me understand you got a long way to go.
There's another level.
Yeah. He practiced every day. He practiced. If he was alive today, if we call him, he would say these words. Be like, "Yo, Spanky, what's up?" He'd be like, yo, Johnny, what you doing? I said, "Man, I'm just checking on you." He said, "I'm just shedding." Wow. I'm just shedding. Wow. So he's in heaven now. And guess what he's doing in heaven?
Shedding.
Shed. Wow. That's what he does that all the time. He just shed. Wow. Just shed. Yeah, he was far beyond comprehension. Yeah, it's another world. It's another world.
Wow. It's interesting because some years back when I was in a different band and we were opening for Najee, and I told my bass player, Joe Scott, I said, Joe, I want to start taking lessons again. He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I want to take my playing to another level." So he looked at me kind of funny and stuff, and so that we went to sound check, and Najee's a headliner, so naturally they sound check first. And Najee didn't play any saxophone in the sound check. He played all flute, and he was killing it. And I'm like, man, somebody must have told this brother that there was another flute player on the program. I didn't say nothing to nobody, man. And he didn't, man. And it was, he killed it, man. He came over, well, I met him later, but Joe came over to me and said, "Yeah, now I understand."
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow, that's something. That's
understatement.
Yeah.
What's the most important decision you ever made to date?
To be true to myself. To be true to myself. And I've learned to listen to the spirit within myself and not to doubt myself.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't doubt myself. So I've learned to listen to the great I am within me, because a lot of times God tell me to do things that other men outside would not validate. But God said, do it anyway. Just like, he told me that I don't have to look for a job. He said, your guitar playing is your job. But my mother was like, get a real job. And other people around me were saying, get real jobs. Okay, it's time for you to get a real job. But there was something in me who was saying, no, you're not like them. You're not like them. And don't listen to them. Because if you listen to them, you'll be like them.
Just like them.
You'll be just like them. So pay attention to you. And have faith in yourself. There it is. Have faith within yourself.
Right. What's your favorite song, and who's your favorite group or singer?
My favorite song. To be honest with you, I don't really have a favorite song.
Okay.
Um, but if I had to pick, because I'm getting older now, I'm starting to like. Uh, hymns more. I'm starting to like traditional songs, you know. Um, but I would say my favorite song is probably the song that I recorded the most recently. And the song that I recorded most recently, that is my favorite right now, is Every Time I Feel the Spirit Moving in My Heart, I Will Pray. Yeah, I like that song. I listen to it every day because it does something to me. It makes me dance. It lifts my spirit.
Right.
You know, it's alive.
Right.
It's alive. So it's a rendition that the Lord gave me. It ain't even out yet. Nobody even heard it. I think I sent it to you though.
I'm trying to remember. I was just sitting here going,
yeah. Every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart. That's the melody. But I'm playing it, and then I got the guitars acting like background singers at the end. It's very anyway, we'll get to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who's your favorite group or singer?
Favorite group, I would put Hawkins Family.
Favorite singer?
Kim Burrell.
Wow.
But I also have to put favorite group, Take Six.
Right. Wow.
Take Six.
Yeah,
Hawkins Family, Take Six. And then favorite singer, female, will be Kim Burrell. Male will be Daryl Coley.
Oh, oof. Daryl was a beast.
Daryl Coley.
Wow.
Yeah, he was doing that. And also Vanessa Bell Armstrong.
Oh yeah.
Leandria Johnson. Now it opened up James Moore. The list opens up. It's different kinds of singers too, you know.
Right.
You know, you got Smooth. I love Marvin Gaye. You know. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And the last one. Tell me your life story in one sentence.
I'm living a dream.
Wow.
I'm living a dream. Yeah. My life is a dream. And it's a real dream. It's a real dream. I don't have to look for work. I'm back in the Garden of Eden. Yeah, Adam, when he was in the Garden of Eden, before they ate of the forbidden fruit, everything was created for him to have.
Right.
Everything was there. Everything was in place. Nothing was out of place. So when you get back into a rightful place with God, everything gets back in place. So I'm living a dream, whereas I don't have to ask for anything. I don't look for work.
Right.
The last time I looked for a job was 1980.
Wow.
That was the last time I filled out an application looking for work. Since then, I don't even look for work. So let me tell you what I do. I study to show myself approved before God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed, but rightly dividing the word of truth. But there's a scripture in Joshua 1:8 says, the book of this law shall not depart out of thy mouth. Thou shalt meditate therein day and night, and observe to do according to all that is written therein. Only then thou shalt be prosperous and have good success. So the job is to punch in by meditating every day, and then to punch out by meditating every night. Every day, and meditate on the words that I like, the words that make up my DNA. I meditate on it every day, and then I meditate on that same word every night. That's a job. That's a gig. Punching in, punching out every day. Tuesday, punch in, punch out. Wednesday, in, out. Thursday, in, out. Friday, in, out. Sick, in and out. Happy. Your birthday. Things happen, in, out, you know?
Right.
You know, whatever. The death in the family. Still punch in, still punch out. Yeah. So, and then that become a way of life. And then God be like, oh, you're real. You're real. Since you're real, since you coming up to this level, here's another level of living.
Right.
You don't have to worry about nothing. I got you. Because you keep checking in. You keep checking in.
Cool. Now, once again, can you share how people can contact you on social media?
Sure.
And how they can buy your music and your books that we didn't really talk about.
Yes. You could go to www.jdubose.com. Again, www.jdubose.com. That's my website. You can go to my email address, which is DuBose Jr. At AOL.com, or you can go to Quentin Marquise, QUENTON MARQUIS at gmail.com. You could, email me there, or you can go to my YouTube channel, which is Jobo Enterprises with a Z, JOBOENTERPRIZES LLC, and you'll be able to see everything there. And I'm on Facebook, and I'm on. You can just look up the Prophesying Guitarist on Facebook, as well as Instagram and on TikTok. And those are the ways that you can get me. And I have a telephone number. If anybody want to call, you can call this number. It's the Agape House Fellowship number 203-367-7517. And leave your information there, and I'll get back in contact with you. And just happy to be here. Thank you so much, Elder Al Thomas. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you more than you know. And
Yeah,
as
this
I
is
always
great.
say, I love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it, bro.
You're my man, 50 grand, and it's all in your hand. God bless you, brother.
God bless you, man.
Thank you once again.
Yeah, peace.
Yes, sir. God bless. Bye-bye.
This has been another episode of In the Black of My Mind podcast. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Until next week, y'all be blessed.